And welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now it's time for us to take you around the world of sports. And we have the one and only Udoka Njoku joining us this morning. Good morning, Udoka. It's always a delight to have you.
Good morning, Olive. And I really don't want to talk to Osarge this morning. I want to concentrate on you, Olive, because you're looking very beautiful this morning.
Thank you. I'm blushing.
Udoka, it's also okay to say I'm looking beautiful. I'm looking good.
Come on, Osarge. Don't do that.
It's actually very okay. You know, because I can say, oh, you look really nice this morning. I like your jacket.
Good morning, Osarge. Let's leave it at that.
All this masculinity, I understand you're talking sports, but it's okay to let down on the masculinity a little bit. You know, tell me I look good.
There's a story for Olive about Serena Williams, but I'll get to that.
I know, I saw the news. Okay, when it's time, I don't know if that's what you want to start with, but I mean, I certainly do have a perspective on that, and I'll share that with you. But do you have a guest for us this morning?
All right, so let's talk about some other sports now before we get to Serena Williams. Now, Egypt's volleyball national team has advanced to the Mediterranean Games quarterfinals after beating North Macedonia by 3-0. Now, the 2022 Mediterranean Games, which started on the 25th of June, will be ending on the 6th of July in Algeria. Now, the volleyball competition includes a total of 11 nations, 3 from Africa, that is Algeria, Egypt, and Tunisia, and 8 from Europe, Italy, North Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, France, Croatia, Serbia, and Spain. Now, the Egyptian team kicked off the tournament with an opening 3-0 loss to Italy. Now, the Pharaohs got back on track by beating North Macedonia 3-0, and also Italy defeated Macedonia by the same scoreline. Now, Egypt qualified in second place behind first-placed Italy. Now, so far, Egypt has collected 12 medals in the games, 3 golds, 4 silver, and 5 bronze medals. From there to athletics now, let's talk about Nigeria sprinter Blessing Okagbare. She has been given an additional 1-year ban for doping violations, adding to her existing 10-year suspension. Now, this decision rules Okagbare out of the sprint relay at the World Championships. Now, the Athletics Integrity Unit charged the 33-year-old with evading sample collection and tampering or attempted tampering with the doping control process. Now, in February, Okagbare was given an original ban for multiple breaches of anti-doping rules. She was suspended during last year's Tokyo Olympics after failing a drug test. Now, 6 days later, she evaded sample collection on the 13th of June 2021, and she competed in the relay event at Nigeria's Olympic trials, helping her team qualify for the World Championships. Now, those results have now been disqualified due to Okagbare's involvement, and Nigeria has therefore lost its potential qualification place in the women's 4x100-meter relay at the World Championships in July. From there, let's head straight to Cuba and talk about the Boxing Federation. They have reported that the Olympic and triple world boxing champion and the CRUZ was caught trying to escape the island nation, accusing the fighter of serious indiscipline for trying to leave the island illegally. Now, the Federation gave no details about the escape attempt, nor CRUZ's current whereabouts. Now, CRUZ, who won gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021, is considered by many experts to be the best Cuban boxer of his generation. He faces a temporary or permanent suspension from Cuban boxing over the incident. Now, the Federation said it was a case of serious indiscipline that would generate corresponding assessments that would soon be published. Now, CRUZ did not show up at the national championships last week, nor a pre-competition training camp. And to the world of tennis now, Serena Williams' hopes of a victorious return to Wimbledon after a year out ended with a loss to Harmony Tan. The 40-year-old returned to the same center court where she had limped out or injured last year with a passionate display in the defeat. Now the question yet to be answered is, will this be her last Wimbledon, or will the fight continue for the American great? And this is for Olive to answer.
This will be her last Wimbledon. I think she did it was a great run for her. Unfortunately, yes, she didn't win, but I believe that she gave it her best. I think that she did great. For someone who, her first match in the past year was just, I think this 2 weeks ago, was it this last one was her first match in the past year? So she had age, she had injury. I mean, they count age against her. She had injury against her. I mean, she's had to live a life outside the courts for a year. I think it was a good comeback. 1,204 on the I think that's her position right now. Yeah. But I mean, with constant rehearsals and just putting herself back in the game, I'm sure she'll do better, and we look forward to seeing her on the court again.
Serena Williams is 40, and a lot of tennis fans have said, look, leave when the ovation is loudest, but she still tries to continue to meet up some of the records she's trying to achieve. And coming back to Wimbledon, yes, her first game she lost to Harmony Tan. In Serena Williams' time, when she was actually in form, she would have actually beaten Harmony in 2 straight sets. But yeah, losing in the opening game of the Wimbledon is not a good one for Serena. But the fans are actually glad that she is back to play. Remember, she played alongside the Tunisian Njoku during the Eastbourne Open, and she did quite well until Njoku was ruled out injured in that one. But of course, for Serena, the fight continues, and we're hoping that she can actually come back. But it's looking likely that she might actually call it quits with the world of tennis. I
do not agree with people who say she should leave when the ovation is loudest. She should leave when her race is done. We can't keep telling people to do things because of certain age constraints. Yesterday on the show, we talked about ageism and how people are embarrassed to grow older because the society makes them feel like you should have achieved certain things under 30, under 40. There's just this fixation that we have as a people on age. She should be allowed to play tennis till she is tired. When she feels she's done, she's done.
I mean, but I think that the reason is because at that age, and it's pretty much the same thing we're hearing about Robert Lewandowski. And of course the possibility of him getting signed by new clubs. At that age, your speed is reduced. Your agility is reduced, and you're now competing against 19-year-olds, 22-year-olds, who are coming completely fired up. So it's not because anyone's trying to kick her out of the game, because she's now old. It's mostly because at the age that you are now, it would take a whole lot more than just grace, for you to be able to, win tournaments competing against the 22-year-olds who, are currently the stars in the world. So that's why they say, live when the ovation is loudest, because at this time, it's going to take a lot more.
I mean, for Tan used to watch her growing up, so I guess for her it's probably a thing of admiration for her to be able to play against Serena Williams. Right. But congratulations to the 2 women. They've done really well.
And talking about age, maybe that's the reason why I didn't get to make it to the NBA, because, I mean, age actually... Okay, moving on.
What are you saying?
Moving on from there, a lot of people, when it comes to traveling out, a lot of people try to look for different ways that they get to run away from the country to go represent some other countries. We complain about that in Nigeria athletics because a lot of athletes actually go over to represent other countries because they stand a chance of winning more medals with the other countries that they represent than Nigeria or the African country where they come from. Now in Cuba, CRUZ has decided to run away from his country, but of course he was caught. And I said, look, you're not going anywhere. You're the best boxer in Cuba, and you have to keep representing. But he could actually have a reason for wanting to leave Cuba, probably because of the facilities over there, and probably wants to go for greener pastures. What do you make of this, Osarage?
Well, I was going to say you can't blame him, because, people would always love to, move to a country that would support them better. You started by talking about how it happens here in Nigeria, and that is mostly because, the Nigerian sporting, organization generally has not been seen to support in its entirety, financially and with, training and all of the Nigerian athletes. And so they find some other country that will support their goals and their dreams. And so I also can't necessarily blame him. If he decides that he wants to find himself somewhere that he will be able to fulfill his own sporting dreams and sporting goals, then
I mean, maybe what we should look at doing, African countries should look at making sporting in our different countries look so attractive that we'll have other people wanting to come and play sports in our countries and identify with us. So maybe that's a wake-up call for us.
Of course, I totally agree with you. And lastly, talking about transfers now, we hear that Rafinha, of course, we also heard Arsenal were going to get Rafinha from Leeds United, but Chelsea have decided to hijack that move, and it's looking likely that Rafinha might be heading to Stamford Bridge. But for the marketing boys over there at Arsenal, talking about Edu, he still wants to send in the last bid to get Rafinha over to the Emirates. And for Manchester United, they are also looking to buy a couple of players from Ajax. So a lot of transfer news are breaking, and I will surely put the viewer up to date. And that's all from me for sports today.